Welcome to Misano. It's round 13 of the MotoGP World Championship and time for After the Flag. We're here outside Ducati, of course. It's a good day and a bad day in many ways for the Italian manufacturer. And I'm here with Matt Burt and Simon Crafar to dissect what's happened today in the race. Of course, it was a fantastic victory for Andrea Dovizioso, his first here in Misano. I'll start with you, Matt. A great day for him. He lives in Forlì, comes from Forlì, about 65 kilometres away, so it couldn't really be better. Previous to here, he's not really had a great record, and yet today he delivered. I mean, it was a Lorenzo-esque performance. Not many people were expecting him to check out.
No, Andrea Dovizioso, his initial fear was allayed quite quickly, Steve. He was quite worried about Jorge Lorenzo bolting away at the front from pole position. He was quite surprised, and I'm sure relieved at the same time, that Lorenzo didn't seem to have that electrifying speed in the first part of the race like he normally has. And once Andrea Dovizioso got into his groove, he was very aggressive at the first corner, kept himself out of trouble. And once he passed Jorge Lorenzo, you've got to say, Steve, it was a trouble-free ride from him. He backed it off a little bit. I wonder if it was a bit of tyre conservation or just some really canny race management from Andrea Dovizioso. He said afterwards he did back off a little bit, but he just wanted to see how much Lorenzo and Marquez behind him had left in the locker. As soon as that gap came down from over 2 seconds to 1.4 seconds, he was almost playing with him a little bit because he knew he had still plenty left. On lap 25, Andrea Dovizioso dropped back into the 132, so he still had a lot left in reserve, and when push came to shove, he knew he could make that crucial break. A fantastic day for Ducati. At one stage we thought they were going to have a 1-2, but Dovizioso, Ducati's first win here in Misano since 2007. He's had the sweet taste of success for Ducati in Mugello. I think today was a pretty sweet taste for him as well.
From a rider's perspective, Simon, you must have been really impressed with the way Dovizioso controlled that.
I can't say enough about how Dovi, how well he rode. In the press conference they're talking about, a lot of journalists are asking, is the Ducati the best bike? And I don't think that's fair. He was the best guy today, He totally deserved it. The thing I was surprised about is there wasn't 5 or even 7 bike freight train at the beginning, all the other riders that we heard debriefs, they expected that, and it was just the usual 3 did the break. I think we saw this morning in morning warm-up that Jorge Lorenzo couldn't run the soft tyres, at least in warm-up. It was a lot hotter this afternoon, maybe he could have, but the thing is with Jorge, he loves those soft tyres, and he says more lean angle, better turn, and he's won all his races on the softs. Put the mediums in there and he didn't have that edge that he had through practice, did he?
No, well, that's absolutely right. And this morning in warm-up, you could almost see the concern. We've talked about the good side of Ducati. We have to now talk about the bad side. Jorge Lorenzo, an uncharacteristic error, given how well he's been, in form recently. But those medium tyres, he certainly didn't do what he has done in the past.
No, he didn't look as confident at all on the medium combination, Steve. But I don't think he encountered any particular issue in the race of the mediums. He obviously wasn't as fast as he wanted to be. Couldn't quite run the pace of his teammate Andrea Dovizioso, but there was a stage in those last 5 or 6 laps where Lorenzo and Marquez both themselves dropped into the 132s. I asked Marquez after the race, could you see Jorge encountering any real issues with that front tyre? And he said no. He goes, we were just on such a hot pace, trying to hunt down Andrea Dovizioso, and when you're on the limit like that, mistakes can creep in. It was unfortunate for Lorenzo. I'm sure Ducati were dreaming. They were already drawing up those marketing adverts, weren't they? A 1-2 in Misano. It does not really get any better than that. They'll live to fight another day. Let's not forget, Andrea Dovizioso's win today is still the first time in 10 years that Ducati have won 3 races on the spin. They've never had 4 in a row in their history. Mouth-watering prospect going to Aragon in 2 weeks' time.
It certainly is. Marc Marquez, of course, then took second place, Simon. A great ride from him because he had to get himself right on the tail of those Ducatis to even have a chance.
Yep. He said, debrief last night, and we mentioned it in the race, that the Ducatis had the edge, especially on the new tyres. They could use their acceleration and keep gapping him, But he said if he can hang on, which he did so well, as the tyres drop down, the gap, they can't use their advantage. And he survived that initial period, and he rode amazing. I mean, you saw it. The thing is, he and Jorge were pushing so hard. And Dovi riding so good that it just came to. I think Mark was on the edge as well. In the end, it was Jorge that went down.
And more important than that, he takes a 67-point lead into Aragon, Matt.
Well, every race since Mugello, Steve, he's been able to increase his World Championship lead, and if you can't win, well, just keep racking up the points. That's exactly what Marc Marquez is doing right now. And let's be brutally honest about this, that the Ducatis, the two-factor Ducatis are in such good form. Dovizioso and Lorenzo have been so strong. There's only one guy out there right now that can race and fight and dice it with the Dukes, and that's Marc Marquez. For me, he's doing an absolutely outstanding job. You know, where would Honda be right now without Marc Marquez? They'd be not in a hole, because Cal Crutchlow did an outstanding job there on the podium, but Marc Marquez, the only man on a consistent basis that can fight those Ducatis, which is a monumental task when you've got that braking stability, they've got that horsepower and acceleration. I'll doff my cap to Marc at the moment. He's riding awesome.
To finish first you have to finish, and despite Jorge going down, Cal Crutchlow, third place, a solid ride.
No, there's no taking away from Cal, because to put yourself in the position to get a podium in this field where there's, at least 10, really good riders struggle to get in the top 10 of qualifying, don't they? And Cal not only did that, he got podium when Jorge made a mistake. Like I said, to be in that position, you've got to ride amazing.
Your thoughts on Cal?
Well, like you say, Steve, it's the old cliche, isn't it? To win the lottery, you've got to have a ticket, and he was right there at the end. He pounced brilliantly on the mistake by Jorge Lorenzo. It was a fortunate podium, unexpected, but you know, Cal's lap times throughout the race were podium potential. He was in those low to mid 133s throughout. He had great rhythm. I think the decisive factor for Cal was in those first few laps. Alex Rins made a sensational start. He gambled on the Suzuki and ran that soft rear tyre. How he managed to make that hang in there to take fourth place, all credit to Alex Rins, just shows how silky smooth his riding style is. I think Cal just got a little bit mired early on behind Rins and Vinales. Once he had a clear track in front of him, he was able to close down a few laps on that top three. A little bit frustrating that he couldn't get that early break and go with them. But hey, he'll take a podium in the LCR Honda's home race. More brownie points from the team boss, that's what he wants.
Absolutely. You just mentioned Alex Rins finished in fourth. I've got 30 seconds each from you to tell me what on earth is going on at Yamaha. That was a big surprise today.
Well, I fully expected Maverick to do something today. You know, he's been strong at the last race, right through practice, maybe the favourite. He found something front end wise testing here, and his form's changed since. What happened in the race? Rossi didn't find that magic he normally does in warm-up, 0.2 of a second, that would make him run there. And again, it didn't happen.
Dreadful day for them, Steve. The home Grand Prix for Rossi. Vinales front row to 16 seconds off the race win. Rossi absolutely nowhere, never looked like getting in top six contention. 19 seconds off the pace. We thought there was a bit of light at the end of that tunnel for Yamaha. Back to the drawing board, I'm afraid.
Well, that's all we've got time for here. I think it's fair to say, before we get mired by the Misano fans, thanks to Simon Cray, far end, to Matt Burton, we hope you enjoyed the day. Ducati remain on form here in Misano, but Marc Marquez is in charge of the World Championship. From here in Misano, we'll see you over in Aragon. Brilliant. Andrea Dovizioso leads here in Misano.
Wow! Oh, Lorenzo's down. Oh, Lorenzo's crashed out of second place.
11 years and waiting since Ducati have won in Misano. It is Dovi Demolition here, back to his winning ways.
Ai vertici di questa gara vince Andrea Dovizioso.